Hello, friends. Now, World Test Championship final is going on between India and New Zealand, and I was thinking what might be the best possible combined playing 11 for this World Test Championship edition, that is from 2019 to 2021. So, I have formed a team for you. I will tell it to you. Let's start with the openers. My first opener would be Rohit Sharma from India. Rohit Sharma is the top run scorer among all the openers in this edition of WTC. In WTC, he has played 12 test matches, scoring 1,030 runs. That is before the finals. This is the scores which I am going to tell you before the finals. He has played 12 test matches, scored 1,030 runs at an average of 64.4. And he has scored four centuries and two half centuries in WTC. And he played the best knock of 161 on tough wicket of Chennai against England in the recently home series against England. And due to, you can say, that series, that performance by Rohit Sharma, India would make a comeback and win that series and reach to the finals of WTC. Of course, Rohit also made three more superb centuries. So Rohit would be my first opener. Then for the second opener, I will pick Dimuth Karuratna from Sri Lanka. Now he has scored both at home and overseas. He played total of 10 matches and scored 999 runs, just one short of 1,000 runs at an impressive average of 55.5. He made four centuries and four half centuries. And he scored the highlights of his performance was a century of 103 runs at Johannesburg in South Africa against South Africa. And then he also scored against New Zealand in Sri Lanka 122 runs. So Karuratna had been a really consistent performer for Sri Lanka in this edition of WTC. I was also thinking about few other openers. Some other openers also performed well, like David Warner from Australia, Dean Elgar from South Africa, and even Mayank Agarwal from India. Mayank too has a good record in WTC, scoring at an average of around 43.5, and he has scored almost around 850 runs. But considering the overall stats, the overall conditions in which all the openers played, Rohit Sharma and Karuratna were the two best openers. So these are my choice for openers. Then at number three position, there is no debate. Marnus Labuschagne from Australia is my number three player. He is the top run scorer in this edition of WTC. In 13 matches, he scored 1,675 runs at a really good average of 72.8. And he also scored most number of centuries in WTC, scoring five centuries and nine fifties. And now, if any of the batsmen score century in the WTC final, maybe then they can equal Labuschagne record. Like Rohit has four centuries, so he has a chance maybe to equal that record. But Labuschagne will end up as not only as top run scorer, but also as the highest century maker in WTC. Then at number four, my player would be Steve Smith from Australia. He played total of 13 test matches, scoring 1,341 runs at a very good average of 63.9. He made four centuries and seven half centuries, and he was the third highest run scorer in WTC. And his performance has been good both at home and at overseas. And for number five position, telling you honestly, I was a bit confused whom to pick. There were three contenders for number five position. Joe Root from England, Babar Azam from Pakistan, and Kane Williamson from New Zealand. But I would choose Joe Root from England for number five position. And I will also give my reasons for that. Joe Root is the second highest run scorer in WTC. He has played 20 matches, scoring 1,660 runs at an average of 47.42. He scored three centuries and eight half centuries. And his performance was a bit average at home, but he performed well in Sri Lanka, in India, that is in overseas conditions in the subcontinent, and also in South Africa. And his performance was also fine against Australia. He was the second highest run scorer. So I will pick Joe Root as my number five batsman. Now I will tell why I didn't pick Kane Williamson and Babar Azam. You see, in case of Kane Williamson, although he was the top run scorer for New Zealand and was one of their main batsmen due to whom New Zealand actually reached the finals, but his performances in overseas conditions were very poor in WTC. He scored only at around average of 13, 12.5 or 13 in overseas. He failed miserably in Sri Lanka and in Australia. And at home, he was really good. So due to his poor performance in overseas, I didn't pick him. And then talking about Babar Azam from Pakistan, even his performance has been really good in WTC. He has scored 932 runs at an average of 66.5 in 10 matches. And he scored four centuries and five half centuries. But if you see his performance, the four centuries which he scored, two of them were against Sri Lanka, and one century was against Bangladesh, one was against Australia. So I feel that he played less number of matches, first of all. His overall runs were much less. Maybe he needed to play more matches. Pakistan needed to play more matches. And three of his centuries were against the weaker opponents. Maybe he needed to score some more runs against the tougher opponents. Of course, Pakistan and India don't play, but maybe Babar Azam needed to score some runs against New Zealand, South Africa, England too. A few centuries, few more runs. In that case, he would have been in the contention, but he certainly performed well in WTC. Then at number six position, I have my all-rounder, Ben Stokes from England. He played 17 matches, scoring 1,334 runs at an average of 46. He was the fourth highest run scorer of WTC. He scored four centuries and six half centuries. Plus, he also took 34 wickets at a good bowling average of 26.26. And I feel that he played best knock of this tournament when he scored 135 not out at Leeds versus Australia to help England win a really thrilling match. He was playing with the tail ender when 9 wickets were down and hit 8 sixes to win the match for England in a thrilling run chase. Then at number seven, my wicketkeeper batsman would be Rishabh Pant from India. He played 12 matches, scoring 662 runs at an average of 41.37. And he also had the best strike rate of all the batsmen. His strike rate was 69. He made one century and four half centuries. And there were few other contenders also for wicketkeeper slot who performed well, like Quinton de Kock from South Africa and Mohammad Rizwan from Pakistan. But I felt that Rishabh Pant was the X factor for India, who scored at very crucial stages and helped India reach the finals. If Rishabh Pant hadn't performed, India wouldn't have made it to the finals of WTC. So I had to pick Rishabh Pant there. Then at number eight, my only spinner of my playing 11, off spinner Ravichandran Ashwin from India. He played 13 matches, picking up 67 wickets at a bowling average of 20.9. He picked up 4 5-wicket hauls, and right now, before WTC final, he is the third highest wicket taker. But it seems that after the finals, he may end up as the top wicket taker of WTC. Then at number 9, I have Pat Cummins from Australia. He has played 14 matches, picking up 70 wickets at a bowling average of 21. And before WTC final, he is the highest wicket taker in WTC. Then at number 10, I have Stewart Broad from England. He played 17 matches, picking up 69 wickets at a bowling average of 20.1. And right now, before WTC final, he is the second highest wicket taker. But he may end up as the third highest wicket taker after finals if Ashwin takes 3 more wickets. Then at number 11, I have the only New Zealander, Tim Southee. He has played 11 matches, picking up 51 wickets at an average of 20.7. And he is the leading wicket taker from New Zealand. And although all the New Zealand players have performed well, and that's why they have reached the finals of WTC. But still, I have picked only one New Zealander in my playing 11 because Tim Southee is the only player who performed well both in their home conditions in New Zealand and also in Australia and Sri Lanka. While most of their players didn't really perform well in Australia and Sri Lanka. And then I also have my 12th man. My 12th man would be Ravindra Jadeja. He is not only the best fielder of India, but he is one of the best fielders of the world. And in WTC also, his performance has been really good. He has played 11 matches, scoring 469 runs at batting average of 58.62, scoring 5 half centuries. Plus, he has also taken 28 wickets at bowling average of 28.67. And the captain of my playing 11 would be Joe Root from England. So I will once again repeat the playing 11. I have Rohit Sharma and Karuratna as my openers. Then Labuschagne, Steve Smith, Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Rishabh Pant, R. Ashwin, Pat Cummins, Stewart Broad, and Tim Southee. This is my playing 11 with Joe Root as my captain. This is my best playing 11 for this edition of World Test Championship. I hope you will like my team. Do share your views about my team. Do like the video, share my video, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, friends.